All right, so here we go. Yes. So I was not expecting this response from Blizzard today at all. We've got brand new Diablo 4 updates to go over, including new dev replies about cooldown reduction. Should it be removed from the game entirely? Well, the response from the dev team might surprise you on this one. Plus, Nightmare Dungeons have officially changed, and we also get a wild explanation as to why they can add only one stash tab at a time with the next update. And will Renown be a thing of the past in future seasons? Also, let's talk about how broken promises of Overwatch 2, another Blizzard title, have trickled into the community's overall mindset towards Blizzard and, more importantly, Diablo 4's dev team. But yes, check this out right here. And I've got to tell you guys about this incredible Diablo 4 inspired PC. Yes, what you are seeing right here is actually a PC, I kid you not. So get this, Skytech Gaming has partnered with Intel and Signal RGB to build this incredible Diablo 4 themed PC. They are currently running a giveaway right now where you can enter for a chance to win it. Just click on that link in the description below to enter and find out more. And one of the biggest focal points of this beautiful PC is not only the hand-painted chest, which was 3D printed by the Skytech team, by the way, but also the potions on top, which actually react to your health and resources in real time as you play Diablo 4. This is also made possible by the Signal RGB app, which syncs RGB devices from any brand to bring you a cohesive lighting experience. But enough about the outside, because wait till you hear what's on the inside of this beastly machine. This PC is powered by the 13th gen Intel 13600K CPU and the RTX 4070 graphics card, giving you all the legendary hardware you need to defeat Lilith and save Sanctuary. The handcrafted chest is also designed with performance and cooling in mind for those long Diablo 4 gaming sessions, so you're good to go. So what are you waiting for? Enter the contest right now by clicking the link in the description below for a chance to win this incredible Diablo 4 themed PC. And a huge thanks to Skytech Gaming, Intel, and Signal RGB for sponsoring this video and believing in my channel here at Open World Games. So yes, real quick, if you missed it, the new Nightmare update is out right now. They call it a Hotfix 3, but to me it's far more important than that because it's an actual update to Nightmare Dungeons. Now, I did do a previous video about this, as you can see right here. You can check it out as I go in depth about it. But yeah, there's also these notes, Hotfix 3 for July 21st, 1.10. And they are basically saying they are implementing a reduction to overall monster power levels in Nightmare Dungeons. The new top range for Tier 100 will feel like what Tier 70 was previously, and they show some examples here. Again, I detail all of this in my previous video. Check it out. But you guys are here for the new news and updates, so let's get into that right now. So head on over to Twitter, where I was asked right here. I think I'm on Blizzard's do not respond to list, but I will try anyway. I noticed the plan is to buff Barb and Sorcerer aspects. Is that all these two classes are getting? They seem to be far more broken than aspect buffs alone will fix. And we have a reply here from Joseph Papora of Blizzard, who says this: we'll have more to talk about later this week. I don't suspect that we'll be done tweaking these two classes after 1.11. So they plan to actually dive into these classes a bit more than just buffs, it seems. Now, we have further questions out here. It says, great to see you guys took what the community said at heart, but why are we only getting one extra stash tab? What is the problem to add a load of them or even unlimited? Also, with the Malignant Hearts added, that is yet another item to stack up on. Yeah, that's been the biggest problem with Season 1. It's been a pain. Joseph Hora says this: when we say they are expensive, what we mean is they create a lot of memory overhead. When you see another player in-game, you load them and their entire stash filled with all their items. This is what teams are working diligently to improve so that we can have more ASAP. Basically, this isn't a storage concern. It's a performance concern. That is not good to hear whatsoever. And I really hope they can get this down. It sounds like more of a programming issue for sure. And yeah, strange. Now, we also have from Pelican15, who says, great stream today. Really looking forward to 1.11. Any chance you guys revisit the cooldown reduction nerf in the future? By the way, on the builds that want it, it still feels mandatory. The nerf just makes for a worse gameplay experience. Maybe just increase the base cooldown of outlier skills. We have this reply here from Joseph Papora, who says this: we're probably not going to revisit cooldown reduction as a stat. We do, however, plan to look at cooldown generally to make sure these active skills feel impactful. We'll keep talking about it on streams because it's pretty important to the feel and flow of combat. Now, we do have even more about cooldown reduction. It says this right here from No Way Jose 171, who says, I honestly feel like you remove cooldown reduction from the game and you just make the spells a fun interval to press. Just my 2 cents. Get this is what Joseph Horror says. This is certainly a position held by several on the team. We'll have more to discuss a little further down the line, but thanks for the feedback. Do you guys think cooldown reduction should be a thing of the past and they should implement some sort of new feature into how you actually handle your spells and abilities and skills? Sound off in the comments below if you do have like an alternative to this. I'm kind of curious because it seems like a lot of you just cannot stand cooldown reduction in its entirety. So yeah, I'm kind of curious about your take on this one. Now, we have this one from Aaron, who says, there's a lot of complaints about Seasonal Journey being very bland and repetitive. Obviously, it's easier to build, but has there been any discussion about how to make Seasonal Journeys more interesting? Great question. Joseph Porter responds saying, I think it's going to be an evolving system for some time. There is a balance between simple activities that are clear and creating more novel goals for players to engage in. We'll certainly be looking for feedback as we consider future iterations. Yeah, you know, it's not even, when I look at the season journey for season 1, it's not interesting at all. It also doesn't tie into the story whatsoever. You're doing mundane tasks, which has nothing to do with malignant hearts, this malignant threat, and it makes me scratch my head like, why am I even doing this stuff? In my personal opinion, there needs to be more incentive in terms of story for these objectives that are on your season journey in the chapters. It just needs to tie better into what's actually happening with the story in the season. That's my personal opinion. Right now, currently also, another problem that I'm noticing with season 1 is the malignant aren't everywhere. They act like, oh my god, the malignant have spread all over the world. That is definitely not the case whatsoever. And I think that's intentional to make season 1 feel bloated artificially so that you aren't getting tons of hearts. You're having to do all this other stuff, and then you find malignant enemies dispersed throughout the world with regular enemies, and you're finding hearts less and less. Of course, you can go into malignant tunnels, don't get me wrong, but the overworld, the actual world itself, needs more of a malignant threat. That's just my opinion, especially like in strongholds and things like that. It is shocking that they barely have a presence in strongholds. At least that's my experience so far. All right, let's get back to it. So we have this one right here. Hey, quick suggestion. Put hell portals from Nightmare Dungeons on the tier 4 normal map as constant random spawning events in open. Have them spawn 5 levels above the player. Can also create ones we can go into for hell style cellars and malignant tunnels. Great idea. And you know what? Joseph Apora agrees. He says it's kind of cool, to be honest. So maybe, just maybe, this is a kind of feature that we can expect in the future. It looks like they're looking into it. Then we have Dave, who says, hey, Rod Ferguson, so far I'm enjoying season 1. I have a tiny favor to ask. Can we please see some boss variety in dungeons? I'd love to randomly fight Andriel or Darrell, or even a rare chance at fighting a rare Travical or Blood Raven boss as throwbacks. Thanks for a good game. And Rod Ferguson chimes in saying, we hear that and are working on it. So this is something they're actively working on in the background, is apparently giving us more boss variety, which we desperately need for sure. All right, next up we have, please, the Fury against Fate quest is still bugged. Although I read about a workaround to complete it, I prefer it to be fixed. I do not want to change my frames or anything just for that. And Adam Fletcher says, I'm 99% sure this is in 1.11. I know, long standing. So yeah, this is going to be making it into, it seems like, that next major patch. Now, there was some controversy around the Battle Pass and the accelerated Battle Pass button, and I highlighted this in my previous video about how people were accidentally pressing this. And essentially what would be happening is people would go check out their season journey, and then they would find their cursor automatically highlighted over the accelerate battle pass button. Click, and boom, they've accelerated their battle pass without the permission of the game. Essentially, they don't even have a proper confirmation window saying, are you sure you want to do this? So it's definitely, in my opinion, malicious, and we have some responses about this, so let's get into it. Check it out. Dennis calls it out. He says, guys, The activate premium battle pass button is ridiculous. There has to be a confirmation button on something like that. There has to be one. Shady as all hell. I love how he called him out, to be honest. Now, Adam Fletcher says, we will have an update that will move the cursor over to the season journey by default as an immediate fix and a small update early next week. But yeah, I feel like it's too late. You know what I mean? There's so many people that have already done this, so they have accomplished their goal, it seems. And I still think it's shady, and I'm glad that the community is calling this out for what it is, because, yeah, it shouldn't be happening in the first place. I am certain that they would have absolutely had to have noticed this. Next up, we have Jason, who goes on to say this one right here. Thank you for this, Adam Fletcher. Do you know if the team is looking into the Tree of Whispers previously tweeted Hell Tides by accident in World Tier 3, not giving experience? Pretty huge bug. And Adam Fletcher says, yeah, looking into it. So yeah, again, more problems with certain elements of the game not giving out experience at all. Yeah, so it looks like that's going to be in some sort of future hotfix. Again, when that drops, I will let you guys know. Now, we have got to talk about Renown. It seems like people are extremely frustrated by the Renown system in this game, and it's just boring. Again, you're doing a lot of stuff that doesn't even tie into the theme of the season, which is ridiculous. So let's get into this post right here. It says the following: Renown needs to go in future seasons. This is posted by Cloud Dance. It says, holy crap, it's so boring. I enjoy the grind for loot and levels, but Renown is basically you grinding for 20 Paragon points, and that's it. And you're forced to do very specific content for that. Possible resolutions include this. Number one, make every Renown reward account-wide, not just altars and exploration. Remove Renown from seasons, no stats from altars, no bonus skill points, no bonus Paragon points, and set the potions and obols limit to max by default for seasons. Number 3, make Renown repeatedly available from overworld events and nightmare dungeons. Basically, Renown needs to be something that wouldn't interrupt the flow of the regular grind, leveling, and loot. Again, I view it as padding, and I think that's the intent of it. It's terrible. Now, we have this reply right here from Cruxer, who says, Renown grinding for the sake of Renown is horrible and tedious. Couldn't agree more. They just need to introduce Renown gain from the other sources so that it can be earned more passively. For example, complete a Whisper, have some Renown. Killed 100 spiders, have some Renown. Completed an overworld public quest, here's some Renown. Right now, you have to decide whether you're doing something because you enjoy it, or do you want to progress Renown, and it is painful. Couldn't have said it better myself. That is such a great post. And again, this has to be looked into with season 2 and 3, because I just feel like people are just going to give up on the seasons. If you're doing a bunch of pointless stuff just to pad the length of the season and what you're doing in that season, people are going to catch on to this. They're going to give up. That's how I feel about it. So Blizzard needs to be really cautious about their player base's time, respecting their time. That is super important. So yeah. All right, next up, we have this one right here. Does anyone else think about the Overwatch 2 PvE promise when they hear the Diablo 4 devs? And if you missed that one, yeah, it was promised that Overwatch 2 would get a PvE mode. That is not going to be happening, and it seems like a sense of paranoia has formed around whatever is said from Blizzard. No matter what game it is, Overwatch, if it is going to be Diablo, and so on. So we have this right here. They go on to say this. So does anyone feel the same way? By the way, this was posted by JMC SMFPC, and they say, I saw the Diablo 4 campfire yesterday, and I heard a lot of promises, like we don't have X right now, but in the future we will, and stuff like that. And in my head, I immediately think of the empty promises I heard when Overwatch 2 was announced for all to be canceled. And I hope I'm wrong here. I think it's going to be the same in Diablo 4. They're making promises and hoping that the community just kind of forgets about these promises. I'm just playing the wait and see approach. I have covered so many games with promises. The biggest letdown for me, and I'm sure you guys may remember this when I covered it, was Anthem Next. There was big promises about Anthem turning into Anthem Next, and they were talking about, they revealed what they're going to do, this and that. Canceled completely. I hope that does not happen with this one. The only way that that would happen is if we see a significant slow in sales and players that are interacting with the game. If you see the population of this game dying off very rapidly, then you would see, in my personal opinion, most likely broken promises happening. All right, next up, we have this one right here. As someone that played every Diablo 3 season, Diablo 4 season rewards don't attract me at all. And this comes from ICA. Let me know if you guys are on the same page. Now, they say this. I know this is an extremely controversial opinion, but wings, pets, orders, and all that stuff you get from Diablo 3 seasons actually made me want to play the game from a rewards perspective. Let's leave the gameplay talk for another post. In Diablo 4, I get transmogs that I'll almost never actually see, titles which I really don't care about, and that's it. Even if you do buy the premium pass, the rewards are crap in my opinion. Say what you want about flashy and colory Diablo 3, the cosmetic rewards actually felt worth it for me, especially when you only had to clock in like 15-20 hours to get them, not whole months. Again, I go back to respecting the player's time. Again, this is all my opinion. There are many things in Diablo 4 that just don't feel rewarding, and I feel like seasons are one of them. Obligatory, go play Diablo 3, then yeah, you know, I have my own opinions about this. Let me know what you guys think about adjusting the visuals of your abilities. I think that could be potentially a cool take from some of the, I suppose you would say, more cosmetic type rewards that could be on offer for the battle pass. So, you know, I think they could make some of the abilities more flashy that you actually earn. Like, oh my God, this cool visual effect from the battle pass. I want that for my Twisted Blades. I want that for my Rapid Fire, for example, for my Rogue. That sort of thing I think could go a long way. But then again, they do have to keep to the look and aesthetics of the game. If we're seeing a bunch of like crazy, colorful visual effects going off that do not match the dark tone of this game, I think that would turn off people even more. So yeah, this is a careful tightrope that they would have to walk here. But it's just a thought that I had. Let me know if you agree with it or not. All right, so now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video, so let's do this. All right, so my most recent video was this one right here. It's happening tonight. In-game update, patch notes, big changes, and new dev updates. So let me know if you guys are enjoying the changes to Nightmare Dungeons. Then again, I know most of you are probably in Malignant Tunnels, so yeah, again, you know, I have certain things I want to say about Malignant Tunnels, that they need to adjust the mob density there. I haven't spoke about that at all. That needs to change. All right, so here we go. We have this comment right here, Not Your Average Brain Dance, who says, one of the biggest things that needs to be addressed in the game is the loot table rewards. Apart from creating insane builds, RNG loot drops are what gives incentive for the players to keep grinding through the content. Whether it's for aspects, god rolled stats on an item, horse, uniques, etc., there has to be a reward for the grind, or why else do it? Once you get your hands on a few unique items, you realize there's nothing truly unique about them. Some of them are nothing but copy-paste cosmetics of rare items, with stats and bonuses that hurt your build more than optimize it. Besides uber uniques, a unique in general should be an item that makes the player feel like they've obtained something of great value as a reward for their grind, an item that sets them apart from among the majority, not just on the playing field, but cosmetically as well. It's one thing to be powerful, it's another to look great while you're doing it. Seems like the only way you can get anything cosmetically great looking for your class is through the store. At least add an ultra rare cosmetic drops for different classes into the loot table that are hard to obtain. There is nothing more frustrating than the inability to stand out from the crowd unless you spend $30 on a cosmetic that everyone else can easily obtain. I remember back in Diablo 3 when you had to truly grind just to get cosmic wings. We need more vanity items and better gear to help run Nightmare Dungeons 100. And you got a lot of upvotes and a lot of agreement about that one. It just seems like the rewards are rather meh. Now, officially, what the dev team has said is they are interested in revisiting the ancestral tier, the ancestral items, and making those far more interesting. What's going on right now is just not interesting when you hit level 70 and beyond. It's not interesting enough, I guess I would say. To me, it feels like the ancestrals are just like an up-leveled version of the Sacreds when they should be something entirely different, like just blow your mind with what they can actually do, both visually on screen and in terms of gameplay. That's not to say they should be overpowered or break the game or something like that, but I'm just saying they're just very meh when you get a lot of this stuff. You're like, nothing's really happening visually on the screen for me to be like, whoa, did you see that? So they need more of that, in my opinion. It was one of Anthem's biggest problems that didn't have that. And then we have this one from Abel Gonzalez 158, who says Sorcerer damage being locked behind CC damage buckets needs to change. Forces all defensives and to use them offensively to apply CC damage buckets, or we hit like wet noodles late game. So every build is melee or you're weak. This fundamentally breaks the class and build options as a whole. It seems like they are aware of this sort of thing, and it's good to note that they are going to be changing this in the future. When? I'm not too sure. I really hope that this is changed sooner than later, because this is the core issue of the game right now. But there it is. The latest happenings once again about all things Diablo 4. Stay tuned here. Let me know if you guys want to see Starfield coverage. I know Baldur's Gate 3 interests a lot of you. I might be covering that one as well. And then Remnant 2 just released. That one's actually really nice. Well, in early access, it released it early, I guess you would say. But yeah, let me know if you're playing Remnant 2 or not. I'm enjoying it. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.